Am I doing drills with an AK? Nah. Something ain't right. Now, this is what AKs are designed to be used for. Subscribe to this channel if you like stuff. If you are looking for a way to support the channel, I highly recommend you send this video to a friend that might be interested in AKs or just guns in general. If you want to support the channel monetarily, you could check out the merch down in the description below, the Get Fit or Die edition of the TriStar Apparel merch. We got some flags, we got shirts, we got all kinds of stuff. You can get belts on there. If you want to support the channel in other ways, any of the links down in the description, that definitely helps me out. Thank you. Hello everyone, today I want to talk about the Palmetto State Armory AK and why it's one of the only ones that I would actually buy in this day and age. Now, we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff with AKs. Keep in mind that I am not a huge AK fan. I'm not a huge AK expert. When it comes to talking about things like wear and accuracy and ergonomics, you got to understand that. However, I did really take this gun apart and look at a lot of little details. I basically just scoured Reddit to see what people were complaining about wear, and then compared that based on how many rounds I have through this gun with what they did and see what people said about that. And I used that as my kind of like research for what's acceptable and what's not. Because with ARs, I can look at it and say, hey, that's wrong. With AKs, you got to do a little bit of research because everything's a little bit different in my opinion. So we're talking about this AK. Why is this Palmetto State Armory one of the only AKs that I would buy today? Well, there's basically 4 types of AKs that I would buy today. I'd either get a Wasser 10, I'd get one of the PSA normal 16-inch AKs in 7.62x39. I would get a high-end custom premium builder. I'm sure people like Brandon Herrera, I'm sure Fuller, I'm sure all these other companies that produce things in smaller quantities make a great AK. And then I would buy like some weird meme gun like a Draco or any other sort of niche category. But when it comes to AK-47, AKM 7.62x39, this is one of the few options that I would actually buy because it seems like the AK world has been plagued lately. I can't look at anything AK related on the internet without seeing people talking about almost every single brand having major problems with their quality control or their construction. So when it comes to what kind of company would I rather deal with when it comes to quality assurance and quality control and having to deal with some sort of issue, I would much rather deal with Palmetto State Armory than some random company on the other side of the world, if that makes sense. The PSA GF3s, let's talk about the reliability and I'll talk about the quality, fit, function, that kind of thing. And we'll kind of talk about generally the company as well with that. So like I said, I took this gun apart and I looked at all of the little spots and I figured out, okay, what kind of wear is normally going to show here. This gun has about 4,000 rounds through it. I'm saying about because that's about how much ammo I've gone through while owning this gun. And I've maybe put like a mag or 2 through different guns of that ammo that I had. So it's got about 4,000 rounds through it. I noticed that on the carrier tail, there's a little bit of peening, I guess is what people call it. But I think that's somewhat normal because I do have the ALG AKT trigger in that. But the amount of wear and deformation on the back of that seems like it's less than what I see people complain about, especially considering the round counts that I've put through this. So I'm not super concerned. The gun has been perfectly reliable. The only time that this gun doesn't work or hasn't worked is does this really weird thing where after you shoot the last round, it doesn't lock back. So I don't know what's up with that. But other than that, the only issues that I've had was I think twice while bump firing, I had a round not eject. It just kind of pulled out and went back in. But I was using a grab bag mix of ammunition that had been sitting in an ammo can for probably about 2 years, and I was like, oh hey, I had that leftover random hodgepodge of 7.62 by 39, so that could have something to do with it. I don't know. But other than that, when shooting fast or shooting any type of shooting other than bump firing from the hip, the gun has gone off every single time that I've pulled the trigger, which is nice. Now, it's got this weird crack on the stock. I'm not entirely sure if you're gonna be able to see this, but there's a little crack that basically just runs right here, and you can kind of, if I flex it really hard, it kind of seems like eventually this might give out, but I'm not really sure what, I don't know why that crack formed. I have no idea what caused that. Other than that, the finish has been great. I really do beat this gun up a lot. There's a little bit of wear all over the surface, but that's from it being thrown around, dragged around, just generally not babied. I'm not going to baby an AK because they are designed to not be babied. They're made for child soldiers by child soldiers, or at least if you buy a foreign made one. These ones are made by people in the United States of America, but I like to think that at their heart, they are still designed for child soldiers. One modification that I made to this gun, other than the ALG trigger, which lets you shoot a lot faster, is this Unrivaled Technologies muzzle brake. This is made by two guys down in Southern California that I am close with. They're pretty cool. They do a lot of competitions, and it seems like anytime they compete in a division, one of them is winning it. So if you want a good muzzle brake that is tunable, meaning that you can take out or install certain plugs at the top, there's adjustable plugs, so we can either plug them up completely, plug them up part way, but this muzzle brake does a lot for reducing the felt recoil and the muzzle rise. I could tune this a whole lot more, but tuning a gun to the high end of tuning requires consistency on the shooter's part, and when it comes to AKs, I am anything but consistent. So for me, I feel like this does a pretty good job. I got a couple ports open that helps counteract some of the upward rise and a little bit of the side-to-side diagonal rise, and then these big old ports just do a whole lot of work. When I was shooting the gun, you know, Iraqi shitter style like this, I could really feel that gas coming back in my face, so that's just something to note. Accuracy of this gun has been pretty good. It's an AK. I'm shooting a mixed grab bag of ammo. Some of it was brass case. I actually had a decent amount of brass case, 7.62 by 39. Don't ask me why. But yeah, that gun shoots about like 4-inch groups. Now keep in mind I was using a red dot, and the red dot eventually died on me. Probably don't buy the cheapest red dot possible if you want it to work really good. Eventually it just started flickering on me. It was one of the old Gen 1 primary arms red dots that I had kicking around in a box for a long time. And eventually it just started flickering and then just died. It just stopped putting out any sort of dot, even with a fresh battery. So this gun shoots fine. It shoots plenty accurate for if you wanted to use it defensively, you could. Me personally, I'm just not a huge AK fan. For me, this gun is really cool because it make big boom, it go boom, and it's got a good amount of recoil, but not an amount that really beats you up. All in all, this gun is fun to shoot into trash, into steel targets, into hillsides. It's fun to bump fire. And I think everyone should have an AK. And I think that's kind of why this and the Wasser 10 are like my two cheap options that I would say go with. Sorry, my AC wall unit that I just put in started going off. I would say that this and the Wasser 10 are kind of the only two that I would buy in that budget range. Then you have the niche oddball Draco 545 long barrel, whatever variations that you want. You got those, and then you have the guns made by custom builders that do a great job, but just at much smaller quantities, longer lead times, maybe more expensive. There's downsides to doing that, but it's kind of like going to a custom shop to have them build up your car versus just going to a Chevy dealership and buying the, you know, just whatever's on the lot. Really stuttered a lot with that. That was a simple sentence. Anyways, if you're looking for an AK, I think the PSA GF3s are a good option. That's what this is specifically. The GF5s seem fine. When it comes to quality control with PSA, I don't recommend buying Gen 1 PSA products generally, because sometimes there are kinks to iron out. The GF3 has been around long enough to where it works. They've kind of got it figured out. Sourcing of parts works. There's a variety of configurations. I don't really see a whole lot of people complaining about these. I see people complaining about the more niche end of the PSA AK lineup. But for me, this gun has been great. Ultimately, when it comes to assessing the quality control of a company, you cannot just look at a one-off like my instance. I would highly recommend, before you purchase any firearm, go online, see what people are saying, look at the really good reviews, look at the really bad reviews, and then find something in the middle, and you'll kind of get an idea of what that company actually does. And I think that the PSA GF3s, these work. There is nothing wrong with these. Picking up one of these, I don't see anything wrong with it. Are people that are AK elitists gonna shit on you? Yes, but that's fine, because those aren't real people. They don't matter. Anyways, you guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.